G'day everybody, how you going? I had to put this one together this afternoon. We had a little bit of a family, shall we say, wasn't even an incident so much as it's just an occurrence, a life occurrence. So I'm not going to go into any real specific details, but what I do want to talk about as far as parenting is knowing when your child is a bully and knowing when your child's a victim of bullying and knowing how to deal with it. So, Jordan Peterson says that our children, our role as parents is to ensure that our children are behaved well enough so that when people look at them, they don't frown. We see the child walking through the supermarket all the time, and it's screaming. And you see most parents, not all, but you see a lot of parents looking down at the child, what a bad child, or what a bad parent they're thinking, and they're being judgmental and they're judging, and that's human nature. That's what people do. So he says our job is to turn those little monsters into little humans that we can tolerate, and that as they age and as they mature, that they are tolerable and they're intelligent enough to converse at a level that suits their age, and that they learn to express their feelings. And this is important because this is where most bullying comes from. Child either does not know and has not been taught how to express their feelings effectively, how to communicate effectively, and therefore does not know how to say, stop, you're upsetting me, or in the case of the bully, thinks that, oh, it's a great laugh, look at my friends laughing, aren't I funny? And, look, even my own son, for a little while there, he was bullying. I found out through the fact that parents were starting to look at me a bit funny. I'm like wondering what's going on, and he was running around saying, "Oh well, if you don't do what I say, my dad's going to beat you up." I certainly put a stop to that straight away and put him straight on where things standed in the world, or where he stood in the world, especially when it comes to things like that. Like, son, if you're going to be, mouthing off to other children and another child decides that they're not threatened by you and starts mouthing back, where do you go from there? Like, where do you go? I mean, I'm 53 years old. When I was his age, and he's 9, when I was his age, a fight happened in the school ground. It'd be rare that a teacher saw it. It'd be over and done with. The kid would walk away with a shiner or a bleeding nose or a split lip. It was done. It's over. A parent might rock in the next day and carry on. And my son was bullied, and people were spoken to, and on it went. But when I found out he was bullying, I made a conscious effort to teach him that bullying is not acceptable, okay? And even in protecting others, when you are protecting others, threatening and hurting is still bullying. It's not hard to put your arm around someone and say, leave them alone, they're my friend, come on, let's walk away. Nothing wrong with that. There's also nothing wrong with, saying stop and pushing them away and, walking away with your friend if they're being violent themselves. So this has been going on for a fair while, and it went through football and went so far. They were very silly. They came onto the football field. They got a little posse together of parents who didn't like me, and they approached the football field and wanted to get mouthy and carry on. And I've always been involved in going out and helping their coaches with the kids. That's what I like doing. And I was coaching my own kids for the first couple of years. So I was out there, and what they failed to sort of recognise is, although I am very aware of people's feelings and in touch with my own feelings, I don't bully easy. As a matter of fact, I don't like bullies, and that's the way I'm raising my children, to not like bullies and to stop bullies. So when I was called a derogatory remark, that person got told that he was a sook, and that happened to be the father of the child of the incident this week. Another father who was involved, whose son was best friends with my younger son, and I'm really disappointed that this relationship disintegrated, but he and his wife were being the catalyst for it, because they were splitting up and she wanted someone to blame, and I was convenient because I was giving her husband sound advice like, get your family law court orders in order, while she's still happy to do it. But apparently for her, that wasn't good enough, because she would never take the children from him. Now, we've all heard that lie before, man. All right, so it all blew up into something that it shouldn't have. And yeah, I swore and I said a few things, and quite honestly, I said to them, if you're man enough, throw a punch. Otherwise, leave the field. I'm not interested. Neither of them did. The backlash at school continued, and it went on. And the boy involved was bullying my son Xavier. Got to a stage where my son Xavier wanted to throttle him, wanted to grab him and get hold of him. The teachers separated them. We went in and we had a talk to the school. The school had been fantastic, by the way. And we didn't think much more of it. Apparently the child approached Xavier about a month or so later, apologized, said, look, we don't have to be friends, but we don't need to be enemies. Let's just leave it alone. And that's where it stopped. Xavier had been coming telling me about bullying incidents that he'd been in, not he himself had been involved with, but the other child had been involved with other children, and that he'd stepped in and said stop. And, we do gratitude work every night, and, he was talking about it the other night. I was very grateful that he did that, and, that's good behaviour that we want to see him modelling. Because we communicate with our kids. And I know I'm looking at a phone right now, but we're not phone parents. We're not screen parents. I'm sitting out while my children do jiu-jitsu. I don't like to sit in there and watch them. I like them to do it independently so that they don't feel like they're being watched, so they can be themselves. Okay? So they're in there doing their jiu-jitsu and having a great time, and they'll come out and we'll go home. And I've just thought it gave me an opportunity to quickly put this video. This is my third attempt at this video, because I don't want to sound bitter, because I'm not. I really do feel sorry, and not even in a sympathetic way, in an empathetic way, for the child and his parents. They're young. They're too young for children. All right? If you're going to have children, be smart enough to know how to raise them. Be smart enough to actually go and read. Don't just breed, read. Okay? Get into the books. Find out what it takes to raise a child successfully. I mean, society's completely different to the way it was when I was a child. And it's going to keep evolving. It's going to keep changing. And the struggles that our children are going to face are going to be different all the time. But you as a parent are there to support them. And your support needs to be positive and encouraging, not unrealistic. I don't turn around and say to my son, you're the greatest football player on the football team, when he's not. Mate, you had an average game. Go and thank your mates. You're doing well. You're improving. That's parenting. Not coming out, oh, mate, you're a star, blah, blah, blah. Don't do shit like that. Kids see through that. They're not stupid. Okay, so, back to Jordan Peterson. When it comes to kids who bully, they're generally very insecure, and their insecurity comes from their parents and their lack of communication and their poor communication skills. We spend every night, we all sit and eat together. I know that's not possible for some families, but we sit, we eat together, we go through Hugh Van Clydenberg's family resilience diary, and all it has is 2 questions in it, generally based around what happened that was good for you today, what did you enjoy about today, and you write it down and write why, and then you just score your family time and how things have been going with your family. And you score it 1 to 10. You also score whether you ate properly, whether you did any exercise, and your general overall how you felt. Okay, highly recommend it. Also highly recommend his book, Hugh Van Clydenberg's The Resilience Project. He'll be here in Adelaide in December. If you can get tickets, get in and see him. He's a fantastic speaker. All right, everyone take care. And don't forget, once you've had kids, they're a lifetime prospect, okay? They're not something you throw a screen in front of and expect them just to look after themselves. Talk to you soon.